So let's draw our action line out from scratch. I'm just going to move that up. And yeah, thereabouts. I'm going to be okay with that. And then there's this really cool trick. If you're in Move, you press Control, select the center dot, and you can pull up another one. Hold Shift and it'll be constrained. So basically I had Control and Shift pressed at the same time. Cool little trick. Now I can use that to pull the belly forward a little bit, right? Okay, and who knows, with this guy's posture, I'm likely to change this around a little bit. Okay, and now let's say go back to draw, clear the mask, and now I've got a couple of options in front of me. So I want to confront these options before we move on and start tackling more complex parts of the model. I can Control, click, and drag and remesh this entire thing. And then if I turn polyframe on, let's turn floor off. It's all one poly group, and all of the topology is kind of merged into one model. If I undo this and I go into DynaMesh and turn group on, and then I remesh, each one of these is still a separate piece that I can work with, provided they're separate groups. Okay, and so that's something that's kind of new to us, this idea of groups. So groups in relationship to DynaMesh have a lot of extra power that we can use, really. Now in my case, I'm going to keep groups off. I wanted to introduce it to you to give you a sense of the future. We're going to look at this later on, but right now I'm just going to turn it off, because really the torso needs to be one particular object, one entire piece. So Control, click, and drag, and it gets merged. Okay, and we've got a zombie with some really good posture. Really good posture. So in fact, maybe I want to change that right now. So let's undo that again. Okay, sorry, I keep making you undo things. And now I want to change his rib cage and rotate that in and start to get some of the hunched quality that I'm going to eventually want with my guy here. So how am I going to do that? The easiest way is to use masks, but I'm going to introduce you to a little bit more complicated of a workflow. We're going to go to rotate in this case. We're going to press Control and then click on the rib cage and drag down to the stomach or the hips. Doesn't matter. Any one of them are going to work. And then since it's still in rotate, I can just click the farthest red dot and rotate that rib cage around. I'm going to need to go into Move, select the center white dot, and just kind of move this a little bit, get the sense of some kind of hunched creature. And I'm not comfortable with where that is. So let's do some sketching. Ultimately, you know, that head's going to be moving forward, the hunch. Okay, and is the hunch going to be like that? I think I kind of want it. And then maybe a little bit, no. I want the lumbar spine to be hunched as well. And then in. Okay, and then the shoulders. Shoulders will be pulled forward actually, because it's going to be shoulders, clavicle, chromium, process, and scapula. Alright, so that's looking okay. So, still got a little bit more twisting to do and pushing back. Move, push it back, and drag out an action line, rotate it just a tiny bit. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the center dot. Control, click on it, and drag to the rib cage. Move, and move it back. Now note I am perfectly side view. It's 100% side view. This is really important. You need to be in the side view. If you're not in the side view, let me illustrate what happens. Okay, you're moving it according to your screen, but your model's not positioned according to your screen. So when you come and you look at it from a front view, you suddenly stretched out the entire center of the model. Not a good thing. So make sure you're looking at it from a side view. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing. Control, click on the hips, drag to the stomach, move that in. Yeah, I think I'll work with that. Let me turn the floor on. I'm going to be okay with that. The stomach might get some shaping, but we'll deal with that. So back into draw, control, click and drag to clear the mask, control, click and drag to just merge all of these guys. Let's turn poly frame off, and we have a little bit of an armature for us to work with. And you may want to get in and select some of these brushes that we've used, so clay buildup, and we've already started to establish a little bit of anatomy. It's up to you how much you do at this point. I might put a little link in there for the abdomen. Okay, pull this a little bit down as well. Abdomen in this guy, it would be good to actually be showing the 6th and 7th rib and 8th rib. So keep those, but you may want to blend a little. And we might want to push the spine in. Okay, have these guys merge a little. Right now I'm doing the external oblique. You know, you'll figure out the anatomy that you want to work with, and anatomy is its own beast, so you're going to be on your own there for a little bit. Hopefully this will help you and center you a little bit. So I'll explain what I'm doing here in just a moment. Just want to be prepared to talk about it. Okay, and the great trochanter. Alright. There we go. Now, I don't always sculpt with clay buildup like this, but I do this all the time when I'm demoing it and teaching, because you really see the directionality of my strokes and the form that I'm trying to create. Alright, I did that very simply. So let me break down what I did. Okay, we've got the opening of the rib cage, you've got the sternum, you've got the 6th rib, 7th rib, 8th rib, 9th, 10th rib. Okay, you've got the pubic symphysis, and then you've got that bowl of Apollo, basically the round area where the pelvic bones, the iliums, kind of shape this wing characteristic. Now we've got here, oops, it's too strong. You've got the anterior superior iliac spine. You have the ilium going back in space. Okay, the ilium going back in space, and these guys are connecting and then coming down. And we're going to then have the great trochanter coming out of the acetabulum and down. Alright, and there's going to be a whole bunch of things that happen. The gluteus medius, maximus, tensor fasciae latae, rectus femoris, and a whole bunch of parts. We're going to get to them all. But right now, what I wanted to do was create a simple shape that had a little bit of the pelvic characteristics, had a little bit of the rib cage characteristics, 6th and 7th and 8th rib, okay, and then a little connector. That's the primary focus right now for me. Something basic like that. And now we need to move on and start to do the limbs and get the neck and, you know, start to work on all the rest of these parts. So to do that, I'm going to introduce you to more insert brush possibilities, but we'll do that in another lecture. We'll do that in the next one.